Objects and Classes. Introduction. In this chapter, we will discuss the following topics. Introduction to Object-Oriented Programming. Using predefined classes. Defining your own classes. Static fields and methods. Method parameters. Object construction. Packages. Documentation commands. Class design hints. Introduction to Object-Oriented Programming. An object-oriented program is made up of objects. Each object has a specific functionality which is exposed to its users and a hidden implementation. Classes. A template or blueprint from which objects are made is a class. Create an instance a class by constructing an object from a class. Encapsulation. It is combining data and behavior in one package and hiding the implementation details from the users of the object. The bits of data in an object are called instance fields, and the procedures that operate on the data are called methods. Inheritance. Concept of classes built by extending other classes. Objects. Instance of a class. Key characteristics of objects. The object's behavior. By supporting the same behavior, all objects that are instances of the same class share a family resemblance. Object state. Each object stores information about what it currently looks like. The object's identity. The state of an object does not completely describe it because each object has a distinct identity. Identifying classes. The process starts at the top with the main function in a traditional procedural program. There is no top in an object-oriented system. A simple rule of thumb in identifying classes is to look for nouns in the problem analysis. Methods, on the other hand, corresponds to verbs. Relationship between classes. The most common relationship between classes are dependence. Uses A. It is the most obvious and also the most general. Aggregation has A. It is easy to understand because it is concrete. Inheritance is A. It expresses a relationship between a more special and a more general class. Using predefined classes. Objects and object variables. To work with objects, first construct and specify their initial state, then apply methods to the objects. Constructors. It is a special method whose purpose is to construct and initialize objects. Constructors always have the same name as the class name. Example. Constructor for the date class is called date. New date of. It constructs a new object which is initialized to the current date and time. It can pass the object to a method. System.now.println of new date. It can apply a method to the object that you just constructed. One of the methods of the date class is the toString method. That method yields a string representation of the date. To apply the toString method to a newly constructed date object, string s equal to new date of .toString. In Java, the value of any object variable is a reference to an object that is stored elsewhere. All Java objects live on the heap. When an object contains another object variable, it contains just a pointer to yet another heap object. Mutator and accessor methods. Only the get method looks up the state of the object and reports on it. The state of the object is modified by the set and add methods. Mutator methods change instance fields. Methods that access only instance fields without modifying them are called accessor methods. A common convention is to prefix accessor methods with the prefix get and mutator methods with the prefix set. The below given program explains about the mutator and accessor methods. In here, the class student, the name is declared as string variable and we have declared two methods, getName and setName methods. The getName method is used to return the name and setName method is used to assign the value for the name attribute. Defining your own classes. To build a complete program, you combine several classes, one of which has a main method. The simplest form for a class definition in Java is given below. Class name, open bracket, field 1, field 2, constructor 1, constructor 2, then method 1 and method 2, bracket closed. Example of a simple Java class, student_test.java. The example program consists of two classes, student class and a class student_test with a public access specifier. The main method is in the student_test class. The name of the source file is student_test.java because the name of the file must match the name of the public class. You can have only one public class in a source file, but you can have any number of non-public classes. When you compile this source code, the compiler creates two classes files in the directory, student_test.class and student.class. Then you start the program by giving bytecode interpreter the name of the class that contains the main method of your program, that is Java space student_test. Use of multiple source files. The example has two classes in a single source file. Many programmers prefer to put each class into its own source file. You can compile the Java program by using the below commands: javac space student_test.java. First steps with the constructors. The constructor runs when you construct objects of the class, giving the instance fields the initial state you want them to have. A constructor has the same name as the class. A class can have more than one constructor. A constructor can take 0, 1 or more parameters. A constructor has no return value. A constructor is always called with a new operator. The implicit and explicit parameters. Methods operate on objects and access their instance fields. sh.printAge of 19. The implicit parameter is the object of type employee that appears before the method name. Second parameter is the number inside the parenthesis after the method name. It is an explicit parameter. In every method, the keyword this refers to the implicit parameter. A class-based access privileges. A method can access the private data of the object on which it is invoked. A method can also access the private data of all objects of its class. Private methods. Change the public keyword to private to implement a private method in Java. As long as the method is private, it is never used outside the other class, so it can simply be dropped if needed. A method cannot simply be dropped because other code might rely on if it is public. Final instance fields. You can define an instance field as final. It must be initialized when the object is constructed. That is, you must guarantee that the field value has been set after the end of every constructor. Afterwards, the field may not be modified again. The final modifier is particularly useful for fields whose type is primitive or an immutable class. For example, class student open bracket private final string name bracket closed. Static fields and methods. Static fields. If you define a field as static, then there is only one such field per class. In contrast, each object has its own copy of all instance fields. A static field belongs to the class, not to any individual object. Static constants. Static variables are quite uncommon. However, static constants are more common. For example, the math class defines a static constant public class math open bracket public static final double pi equal to 3.141592653589793238446 bracket closed. You can access this constant in your programs as math.py. Static methods. Methods that do not operate on objects are static methods. For example, POW method of the math class is a static method. Expression math.pow of x, a computes the power x power a. It does not use any math object to carry out its task. That is, it has no implicit parameter. Cannot access instance fields from a static method. However, static methods can access the static fields in their class. Use of static methods in two situations. When a method does not need to access the object state because all needed parameters are supplied as explicit parameters. For example, math.power. A method needs only to access static fields of the class. For example, student.getName of. Static fields and methods. The main method. You can call static methods without having any objects. For example, you never construct any objects of the math class to call math.power. The main method is a static method for the same reason. Public class application open bracket public static void main string arguments of open bracket construct objects here bracket closed. The main method does not operate on any objects. When a program starts, there are no objects yet. The static main method executes and constructs the objects that the program needs. Method parameters. Call by value. The method just gets the value that the caller provides. Call by reference. The method gets the location of the variable that the caller provides. A method can modify the value stored in a variable passed by reference, but not in one passed by value. Java always uses call by value. That means the method gets a copy of all parameter values. For example, consider the following call. Integer SID equal to 10. Student.display of SID. No matter how the method is implemented, we know that after the method call, the value of person is still 10. There are, however, two kinds of method parameters. Primitive types, numbers, boolean values. It is impossible for a method to change a primitive type parameter. Object references. Methods can change the state of an object parameter. The reason is simple. The method gets a copy of the object reference, and both the original and the copy refer to the same object. Object construction. Java offers quite a variety of mechanisms for writing constructors. Overloading. If several methods have the same name but different parameters, overloading occurs. The compiler must sort out which method to call. It picks the correct method by matching the parameter types in the headers of the various methods with the types of the values used in the specific method call. A compile time error occurs if the compiler cannot match the parameters or if more than one match is possible. This process is called overloading resolution. Java allows you to overload any method, not just constructor methods. Default field initialization. If you don't set a field explicitly in a constructor, it is automatically set to a default value. Numbers to 0. Boolean values to false. Object references to null. Object construction. The constructor with no arguments. Many classes contain a constructor with no arguments that create an object whose state is set to an appropriate default. For example, here is a constructor with no arguments for the employee class. Class employee open bracket public employee of open bracket name equal to empty string salary equal to 0 hire day equal to new date of bracket closed. If you write a class with no constructor, then a no argument constructor is provided for you. This constructor sets all the instance fields to their default values. If a class supplies at least one constructor but does not supply a no argument constructor, it is illegal to construct objects without supplying arguments. Explicit field initialization. It is always a good idea to make sure that regardless of the constructor call, every instance field is set to something meaningful. The initialization value does not have to be a constant value. It can be a method call. Object construction. Parameter names. It can be somewhat frustrating to come up with parameter names when you write very trivial constructors. Some programmers prefix each parameter with an A. Parameter variables shadow instance fields with the same name. This keyword denotes the implicit parameter, that is, the object that is being constructed. The below given example shows the constructor employee which accepts two arguments, and this keyword is used to assign the value for the current instance. For example, public employee of string name, double salary, open bracket. This dot name equal to name, this dot salary equal to salary, bracket closed. Calling another constructor. If the first statement of a constructor has the form this, then the constructor called another constructor of the same class. Example, public employee of double s, open bracket, calls employee of string, double, this of employee hash plus next id, s, next id plus plus, bracket closed. Initialization blocks. You have already perceived two ways to initialize a data field: by setting a value in a constructor, by assigning a value in the declaration. There is a third mechanism in Java termed an initialization block. For example, integer a equal to a plus plus, a equal to next of a, bracket closed. Class declarations can contain arbitrary blocks of code. These blocks are executed whenever an object of that class is constructed. Here is what happens in detail when a constructor is called. All data fields are initialized to their default values 0, false or null. All field initializers and initialization blocks are executed in the order in which they occur in the class declaration. If the first line of the constructor calls a second constructor, then the body of the second constructor is executed. The body of the constructor is executed. Object destruction and the finalize method. Java does automatic garbage collection. Manual memory reclamation is not needed. So Java does not support destructors. You can add a finalize method to any class. The finalize method will be called before the garbage collector sweeps away the object. If a resource needs to be closed as soon as you have finished using it, you need to manage it manually. Supply a close method that does the necessary cleanup and call it when you are done with the object. Packages. Java allows you to group classes in a collection called package. It guarantees the uniqueness of class names. From the point of view of the compiler, there is absolutely no relationship between nested packages. For example, the packages java.util and java.util.jar have nothing to do with each other. Each is its own independent collection of classes. Class importation. A class can utilize all classes from its own package and all public classes from other package. You can access the public classes in another package in two ways. Add the full package name in front of every class name. For example, java.util.date today equal to new java.util.date. Use the import statement. You can import a specific class or the whole package. You can place import statements at the top of your source files. For example, import java.util. Then you can use date today equal to new date of without a package prefix. Only use the star notation to import a single package. Cannot use import java.star or import java.star.star to import all packages with the Java prefix. Static imports. A form of the import statement permits the importing of static methods and fields, not just classes. For example, if you add the following directive to the top of your source file, then you can use the static methods and fields of the system class without the class name prefix. Import static java.lang.system.star system.out.println of goodbye world system.out exit of 0, that is system.exit. Addition of a class into your package. To place classes inside a package, you must put the name of the package at the top of your source file before the code that defines the classes in the package. If you don't put a package statement in the source file, then the classes in that source file belong to the default package. The default package has no package name. Place source files into a subdirectory that matches the full package name. For example, package com.hostman.core.java public class employee open bracket and bracket closed. Package scope. Features tagged as public can be used by any class. Private features can be used only by the class that defines them. If you don't specify either public or private, the feature, that is, the class, method or variable, can be accessed by all methods in the same package. Variables must explicitly be marked private, or they will be default to being package visible. Documentation comments. The JDK contains a very valuable tool called JavaDoc that produces HTML documentation from your source files. Comment insertion. The JavaDoc utility extracts information for the following items: packages, public classes and interfaces, public and protected fields, public and protected constructors and methods. You can supply a command for each of these features. Each command is placed immediately above the feature it describes. A command starts with a /* and ends with a */. Each /*/ documentation command contains free-form text followed by tags. A tag starts with an ampersand such as @author or @param. The first sentence of the free-form text should be a summary statement. The JavaDoc utility automatically generates summary pages that extract these sentences. Class commands. The class command must be placed after any import statements directly before the class definition. The below example shows the multi-line commands. Example: public class command example open bracket public static void main string arguments of open bracket. Let's declare and print variable in Java. Integer I equal to 10. Here I is a variable. System.out.println of I bracket closed. Method commands. Each method command must immediately hit the method that it describes. In addition to the general purpose tags, you can use the following tags: @param variable description, which adds an entry to the parameters section of the current method. @return description adds a returns section to the current method. @throws class description adds a note that this method may throw an exception. Field commands. You only need to document public fields. Generally, that means static constants. Example: integer I equal to 10. Here I is a variable, that is field command. General commands. The following tags can be used in class documentation comments. At author name makes an author entry. At version text makes a version entry. The following tags can be used in all documentation comments. At since text makes a since entry. At deprecated text. This tag adds a command that the class, method, or variable should no longer be used. The text should suggest a replacement. At C reference adds a hyperlink in the See Also section. Package and overview commands. To generate package commands, you want to add a separate file in each package directory. You have two choices. Supply an HTML file named package.html. All text between the tags body tag and close body tag is extracted. Supply a Java file named packageinfo.java. The file must contain an initial Java doc command delimited with /double and single / followed by a package statement. It should contain no further code or comments. Comment extraction. Assume that doc directory is the name of the directory where you want the HTML files to go. Follow these steps to extract the commands. Change to the directory that contains the source files you want to document. If you have nested packages to document such as com.hostman.core.java, you must be working in the directory that contains subdirectory com. This is the directory that contains the overview.html file if you supplied one. Run the command. For a single package, java doc-d, doc directory, name of package. To document multiple packages, java doc-d, doc directory, name of package 1, name of package 2. If your files are in the default package, java doc-d, doc directory *java. If you omit the -d doc directory option, the HTML files are extracted to the current directory. Class design hints. The following are some hints that will make your classes more acceptable in well-manner object-oriented programming circles. Always keep data private. Always initialize data. Don't use too many basic types in a class. Not all fields need individual field accessors and mutators. Break up classes that have too many responsibilities. Make the names of your classes and methods reflect their responsibilities.